Well, the fall is here, and of course Halloween's right here around the corner. So today I'm gonna make a delicious cookie dish with candy corn. So it's gonna be candy corn cookies or chewy candy corn cookies. I'm gonna add some chocolate chips in there, so it's gonna be chocolate chip candy corn cookies, and they're gonna be delicious. So come on in my kitchen and let's get started. So we're going to start with 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 3/4 or a stick and a half of butter at room temperature. They're going to have a half a cup of sugar, a half a cup of brown sugar. We've got 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt, and we have 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. And then you have 1 tablespoon of vanilla flavoring, and then you have a half of teaspoon of almond extract, and then got a bag of candy corns, which is I've really got about 2 cups is what you have, about 2 cups of candy corns, and then we have a half a cup of chocolate chips I'm going to add to it as well. So I'm going to get started mixing these. So first we're going to mix in a large bowl. I'm going to get my butter, my sugar and brown sugar, and I'm going to do that with a hand mixer until it's light and fluffy. Then I'm going to add in my vanilla and egg blend, slowly add in my flour, cornstarch, and baking soda and salt, and mix until soft, and mix until it's soft, but makes a thicker dough forms. And then I'm going to add in the candy corns, and the chocolate chips, and then I'm going to refrigerate it for an hour. So let's get started prepping this. So now I have my mixture here with the candy corns and chocolate chips. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for at least an hour. You can do it more because it kind of keeps it from spreading, because what we don't want to do is burn our candy corns on the bottom. So we're going to make sure when we make our little balls on the cookie sheet that we don't let candy corns hit the bottom or to kind of melt. We may have some that do that anyway, but we're going to try our best not to when we bake them. But anyway, so I got to refrigerate them for an hour at least. So my story today was, since we're close to trick-or-treat, I'm going to tell one of those, like we moved, I was in the country and nobody ever came to trick-or-treat in the country. Like you would get 1 person or 2 people, it'd just be somebody very local that made a purpose to come to your house. But when I moved to the city, I ended up on the street where everybody went trick-or-treating. I did not know it the first trick-or-treat season. And so we had bought a few bags of candy, kind of prepared that people would come, but we didn't know it was going to be inundated and flooded with trick-or-treaters. We didn't know it was the place to go. And so anyway, my wife and I had taken our children trick-or-treating, and so we were out and about trick-or-treating. My mother-in-law, Maria, was at home passing out candy. Well, the funny thing is she ran out of candy, and so she started giving the children pennies. So you can see that they were probably very surprised that they got pennies, so they got tricked instead of treated. But anyway, that's kind of my story today. Okay, I've got my dough out of the refrigerator. And what we have here now is we're going to roll it, or we're going to take a tablespoon, a heaping tablespoon, and we're going to scoop out and roll them by hand into little balls. And you want to make sure that you keep the candy corns on top. You don't want a candy corn getting on the bottom of the cookie sheet. If you do, it will melt into liquid all over your cookie sheet and it won't look good. And sometimes that happens anyway, just a little bit, but you just make sure that you want to do this the whole time. And also make sure that you put them 1 inch apart, and because they will spread out a little bit, so keep them 1 inch apart. And then I'm going to finish rolling these out, so stay tuned and watch me do this. Okay, these turned out really, really pretty. You do have to be careful though and make sure that you don't have candy corns on the very bottom because they will melt all over your baking pan. So I had a couple that did that because it's kind of hard to tell. But otherwise, and I put some little white chocolate wafers on top just to give them a little more decoration, a little more flavor. But they are chewy, ooey, good, 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 good. So here you go. It's your candy corn chocolate chip cookie for Halloween. Candy corn chocolate chip cookie. Enjoy this. I think you'll love this dish.